welcome back. Here with school teacher Matt. First run back in New Zealand. I just got back from Fiji. Matt's going as standard 120 litre Frank, just got repaired. 1350 front foil. Actually, let's get into it. We've got bay run conditions. It's kind of like a southerly, and it's a bit of a tricky spot. We got wind of tide, and we don't really know what to use. Matt wanted to use the 1250, but I kind of manipulated him into the 1350. So we'll see how that works. And we've given him the surf foil to make it a bit more fun and something new to try, because he definitely prefers the 1250 over the 1350 for management. He doesn't like being overfoiled. I have no idea how he could ever get overfoiled in this bay run. Like, not even joking, like so we'll see how he finds it. So he's got 1350, 64 fuse, 320 surf skinny, 75 mast, usual stuff. I got the KT hollow 115 litre, usual. I've got my 76 cut down mast. I've got the 1500 on, and typically if I was doing this run, I think the 1350 would be more surfy, a bit more fun than the 1500, but the idea of this run is, for me, is to see if I can actually make this 1500 fun and just enjoy the efficiency and make it. The good thing about it is it's going to cover the bases of being underfoiled. I shouldn't be able to get underfoiled. I mean, there's just no, I can't put more foil on. It's just not possible. Yeah, I mean, I can span, like, this one actually has, this is one of the old prototypes. It's quite high aspect. Same area. So yeah, it's the same area as the 1350. I don't know if you guys can see that. So instead of just using the 1500, my go-to would have been 1500 with 60 fuse, I think, today, to try and free it up, and then matching the rear foil to the size of the front foil. So maybe the 45 shimmed, maybe even the 50 shimmed. But I've instead decided to lengthen the fuse. I'm going 70 fuse, and I've put the 35 skinny on to really try and get the efficiency. And hopefully my enjoyment today is going to come from the efficiency of the setup. So longer fuse gives you a bit more feel of that rear foil. Yes, the turning is going to be a bit more drawn out, but I might actually be able to push that 35 through the water and like collapse it and maybe even pump it. I like the shorter fuses because the pump angle, the recovery and the climb is so much steeper than a longer drawn out fuse. But with the smaller rear, maybe that frees it up anyway. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting for me. And then can I have fun with just an efficient, fun system? And if it is actually the right foil, and that the other foils wouldn't get me to the end effortlessly, then that's fun in itself as well. So anyway, a lot of words. Wish us luck. We've got power wings, so we're going to try and wing out to the deep stuff. It's about a 30k run from here, or from home. We're starting from Waiwara and we're going to Jones's Bay, so it might actually be 25 kilometers. Any final words, Matt?
No, I was just interested to see how this goes.
Yeah.
See if you're right.
Yeah, see if I manipulated him into the right choice. He's been having his board's been a bit heavy. He's had to cut his board's been waterlogged a few times, so he's just had it repaired and somebody like drained the water out of it. So hopefully he gets a better user experience.
Yeah, stoked with that.
And I'm enjoying the KT Hollow. This is the 810. I'm considering buying a 9-foot, but actually today I thought I'd put on a whole lot of like wetsuit when I probably don't need it, and I'm just gonna I've got water weight on. I'm taking water with me. I'm gonna have my vest, probably a wet power wing, because I'm scared that the 115 is gonna get a bit sinky for me, especially in racing apparel for Hawaii or whatnot. But I want to see if I can get away with the 115. I think having it, like, yes, it's probably going to be less corky than the 121, and it's a smaller board to travel with. And if I can get away with the shorter board, I will. But I do like big boards and I like long boards. So we'll see. Anyway, I think that's us. I'll see you in the water. Ew. Ew.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Oh, slippery. Alright, power winged out. Gonna stow and paddle up for the rest of the journey. See you on the next stage. Alright, I gotta be careful because it's quite a long run and to save the battery. But we've got Orewa here in the distance, mast here. There's the peninsula coming out. So that's our normal bay run from Orewa to Army Bay. Little Terry Island in the background. But today we're running up the mainland, so the wind's coming southwest. Launch from here. And we follow the mainland up all the way to Jones's Bay. It's like another peninsula, so we're going to run into the next peninsula. And we actually run inside some of these islands, so Mototavu. So it's a beautiful spot, great run. And when it's really cranking, it's kind of civilized because you don't get too much bay ocean swell or whatever. But very surfy, very fun. Anyway, that's what we're doing. It's about 28 k's probably, maybe 25 from Waiwera. Alright, see you on the paddle up. We're just waiting for Matt to paddle up. He's on his feet. We'll do the same. Here he goes. Loosey-goosey with that rear. Loosey-goosey with the small rear. Woo! Okay. Feels a bit offshore. Maybe you shouldn't ride too far, right? Hey there, right? Straighten up though. Very loose. I'm trying to get away with no pumping. Come to the inside of Max. I feel like he kept cutting me off. Feels loose, feels like I'm on that freshly CRC'd or WD-40 system. And that's what the smaller air does. Jingle too. Feels very slick with that 35 on. To the mix. I don't see why not. Right up. So the foil feels efficient, feels a bit spanny. I'm also getting a bit of wobble. Nothing major, but I can feel something. Not used to bobble these days. Surfing, I'm not sure. The back end feels so slick through the water. Not just forward but up and down, which actually makes the fuse itself feel a bit shorter. Just the speed of which the back end moves, which makes it feel very slick up and down pitch, as well as slick forward through the water with glide and whatnot speed. So I'm probably not going to be able to just push against it like I am a bigger rear, even with the smaller fuse. But my goal will be, how do I make this fun? But it's already fun being efficient and just riding and downwinding with low stress and just a beautiful slick feeling, and really learning to use the bumps and utilize low end and just everything that downwinding has going for it, especially when you're on the learning curve, which obviously I still am, most of us are. But I'm a surfer at heart, so I want to do some turns, so I'm going to try to feel out the best way to make this thing turn in a way that feels fun and slick. So maybe not just your pivot turns, so I'm going to see if I can bring the back end around somehow or whatever. So I'll start experimenting with what the system gives me, and then I'll make the most of it, hopefully, is the goal. Which is what we should all do with our setups, just like make the most of what you've got, especially before you go off and buy something else. Like, make sure you've really ridden your gear to death and get a full understanding. Because probably what I find is I use gear and I move on. I'll learn a whole bunch and then I'll just come back to the old gear and I'll be like, oh, this is actually awesome. And my new skills will have opened up new avenues with the older gear. So that performance is still in that gear. It's up to you to learn how to get it out. Close to you, so just be aware. Just go straight and left, Matt, don't come back right. Okay, you can do whatever you want now. Some JC follow cam there. Surfing I was talking about. Gonna feel out the foot position. Where's the pressures? I think I'm gonna start noticing the stress on my mast when I start doing the turning. Feels a bit more laboured. are going to involve flying this foil like an aeroplane, like a glider through the water. It's not so much about just hacking and pushing the board around and wanting the foil to follow me. I'm going to fly the foil. There's not much space between these bumps, so hopefully that opens up a bit. Covering a lot of ground. Pretty cool. I think we're going to get a good report from him today for the 1350. Kind of envisioning where the bumps are moving to, and I'm trying to finish my turn where I think the bump's going to be. It's not really what you've just got at that moment, because it's always a changing seascape. Myself back from the commentator's curse then. Getting some variation now in the bump height, which is cool. Sometimes you get one bump higher than the rest and you can sit up there and make your way through a few of the others. At the start of this run they've all been quite uniform, so you can't really get height and run through the other ones around them. Sometimes that means just holding back for an instant before you perform that turn, just to make sure you're timing it right with the bump and where you want to end up. You don't always have to choose downwind, like sometimes you can see the bump in front and there's a valley behind it in front. And yes, if you're racing you want to go in front, but don't be afraid to fade off behind, especially if it looks a bit steeper and a bit more space than the other option. Take me to the breach, baby. Matt's out here dancing. Too, when it's a bit west, don't just try and surf left, just harrowing or cut in right at the end. I had a horrible run, one of these other ones where I was just trying to fight the wind the whole time. Worried that I couldn't get back to my target. I sacrificed the whole run basically just to not have a bit of work at the end. But I'm just going to follow the pump. Beautiful riding, mate. try and move slow. Have to ride high. Looks like there's some wake in the water right now. Definitely noticing that lack of climbability having the longer fuse. Takes a bit longer for that climb to occur. A bit more drawn out. Still waiting for Matt. Trying to ride slow. The collapse feels interesting on the pump. Doesn't just collapse as easily, so that could be something I can utilize maybe. Slower is often better for kooks like me. That's why I like nice easy gear to use. You can understand it easier, get more time to think about it. Try to do some of our turns while we're waiting for Matt. I've been on a quest to narrow up my stance, but I feel like these long levers on this run, long fuse, long high span foil, are not as great for narrow stance. Woo! Doing a turn, it still feels good no matter what you're on. That looks like Matt's up. Quite far behind though. Nothing breached. I do like that I can kind of, I feel like that longer fuse allows my foil to like lock in the rear foil. I can kind of just lean on it and just use my reduced leverage because I can't really move it as easily. I can kind of lean on it more. Doesn't just give my pressure. Riding better all of a sudden as well. Probably moving quite slow, I would say. better. Like I'm just sitting back and really using the ocean energy, not adding as much. Fading more, letting it go past me. And my focus is more on like how can I use this pattern to propel me rather than like adding a bit here and there. And really just sitting back and using the downhills and whatever else. And at the same time, it should be a win-win because hopefully school teacher Matt will catch us up. And I'm learning new patterns, new system, and the system feels better when it's not being pushed hard. More slick. You know, when you ride near stall speed, your foil becomes very slick. So I don't want to get caught behind anything though. Trying to create board clearance as well from the water through mast height. Just something little like that just makes you ride better. Thinking about my glide as well and not losing glide or mast height due to pitch inefficiency. If I just want to pitch down, I want to control and save, really make the most of your mast height. You know, losing mast height is essentially like falling off without falling in. Actually newfound skills, finding new ways to utilize it and noticing more about what it gives me and the effect it has on the system. So that's kind of cool. Try and be in tune with your system. Tune yourself to your system. Whatever system you have currently while you're on the water. Just notice then, like small inputs sometimes work. And I'm like, oh, that felt really good, and that was such a small input, and it makes me aware of like other inputs that I'm thugging or using strength. I'm like, well, is there another way of doing that? That doesn't require energy. Like if I want the nose to come down, do I need to really push down hard to make the nose come down, or do I just lift my back foot up a touch? And maybe all I have to do is just slightly move my right knee and the nose comes down. Rather than push down, all I do is just slightly lift my rear foot up. You know, just little things. Work with what you got, don't work through what you've got. waves are coming under me and lifting me, and then I'm just turning that lift of myself into downhill. And when you really start working out how to drop the nose of that board by just lifting your rear foot, especially when your front foot's in a nice balanced position, that's when you start learning how to pump. Really pump, not just pushing energy through your foil. Anyone can pump for 30 seconds or a minute, 2 minutes. You don't need to know how to pump for a minute or two. There's debris in the water with the outgoing tide. We got wind with tide on this one. Another reason I sized up. And I'm on the perfect foil for this right now. I think Matt will be glad he's on the 1350, not the 1250. See me like surging up and down, like I'm trying to not let that happen. I'm trying to come up and hold and not turn any of these surges into loss of pitch, loss of mast time, or loss of mat. Got a bit of a frog in my throat, sorry. Power all of a sudden. Get some excess power, just do a turn. Don't just run through something, well, first of all, turn it into mast height and speed, and then do a turn. There's no point gaining mast height and speed and then just running straight to an uphill. Unless you can just pass through it without any input. tight or are you pumping for speed? It'll help you be a bit more sophisticated with your pump. Don't just do any old pump. If you be mast height, don't just build speed and then get mast height. Just bring it up. Find a little hack up will bring you to your mast height. If you're chasing something, then you probably have to make, create some speed. Sometimes you don't even need to chase something if you get your mast height correct. Seems to have neutralized the water a bit. Starting to get a feel for the system, feeling more in tune. Some turns for propulsion rather than just straight pump. Woo! Nearly a bridge. To cut through a few of these and getting some good speed. Must be some steepness every now and again, and then using that speed to redirect through bumps. Definitely notice that when you go forward through bumps rather than fading them. Feel like a bit of a boss. Weaving your way through the swells in front. All about mast height. I hate doing videos where I don't capture the end. I'm wondering if I should just turn the video off for a few minutes. 30% battery. Not a whole lot of battery left. Pumps are just getting good. So what do? Ride for a bit longer, try and utilise some of these swells. It's a nice wiggle turn. And I'll save some battery for the last couple of k's. If I can time it right. But this is just so beautiful. This is islands all around us. Going between the islands. Super efficient setup, just gliding. Glide, glide, glide. Seaweed on my mast. There's seaweed on my mast. You can hear some water flicking up. The video I'm editing at the moment, I had seaweed on for like 12 minutes down this run. Very still here at the moment. I'm in the lee of this cliff band. I can see it in the water. More islands. Looks tropical today. I think pumps that for mast height, like high collection pumps, are easier than speed pumps. And I noticed there myself, just building height with little rear foot removals, and then I was able to just drop down the bump for the actual speed. So definitely check yourself, check while you're pumping. What do you need in that moment? Is it mast height or is it speed? And if it's speed, maybe you can get that speed from just a little bit of mast height, so that you can drop down one of these bumps. That's just, I need to travel then, I just need to keep moving. Sometimes you just need to stay on foil no matter what. See, I just want a loose pump. Pretty tricky water here, but the sufficient system is just letting me just glide through it. Pushing through that high point. seaweed. % battery. We've covered 19 kilometers. One surf left, here's 4 first. Might just be enough, but I don't want to miss that last little bit. Jacked up there. Jacked up, not jacked off. Very glad to have a nice efficient foil on. Definitely some tricky water here. There's so many islands, so much current. So you got the water wrapping around, it's all like refracted and moving at different speeds, rebounding, crosswind. Definitely a tricky section. Past the little island, these islands. Outgoing tide now, which will be speeding up. Tide's changed since we've been out here. Actually the tide changed just before we came out. 1090 as well, so not exactly a huge foil. But like right now, there's no surfing going on, just a little bit of weaving. And I think the surfing foil and sacrifice efficiency glide, I'll be having a really hard time now, whereas I'm actually having quite a lot of fun just hypnotized, just making it work. Trying to use as little energy as possible, just gliding the ocean where it seems ridiculous to even be able to do this. That's where the pleasure and the fun comes from me. So, 2Ks. %. Alright, I'm gonna turn off the camera for a minute. I'll see you in a little bit, guys. Wish me luck. Yeah, quick update. I just came down on purpose because I did have seaweed on. I could see it just sucking water, and anyway. It's been a bit tricky. Very crossed up. Sort of lazy shark. Probably close enough to the end. Making it work. And you need to be efficient and better because it's harder. Kind of cool. I often learn something. Like I'm learning just little different pump techniques about body shifting. And then I could get sort of mental imagery of like one of my favorite humans, still in Bez, and how he pumps. And then I notice I'm doing something similar, and it's like, well, can I add on to that? It's really cool. Had quite a stick before, it nearly brought me down. Another one. Woo! Okay, it's opened up a bit more wind on the water again. Should be fine getting back. 24.55 k's in. No pump. Outgoing tide, there's a lot of crap in the water. Battery get to while it was off? 8%, so not a whole heap left. The finish point. Mixed around this one. Learned a bit about the system, trying the smaller rear, longer fuse again. I'll talk about it when I'm on land. Love the efficiency of this foil setup. helping me wherever it can. Very crossed up. Well, not very crossed up, there's probably 3 directions. Surprise? Finish line. If I remember, I'll try and put a tracking map on this one. See the line through the island. Alright, see you at the end then, guys. Be good. Hydrate. Go call your loved ones. See ya. Damn it! Oh no! Really good in some spots and tricky at the end.